Now, this I find fascinating about the two sides of the coin that have always been the relationship between a marketer and a publisher, which is that the publisher supposedly understands the audience explicitly and implicitly and has all the data on how the audience consumes the content. The truth is the publisher actually hasn't been paying attention to that very much. The marketer, on the other hand, is super hungry for that data. And only the recent introduction of technology platforms that have allowed the Omnitures of the world and the DoubleClicks of the world and then the Digitoses of the world, which have both accounts and compare them, have allowed those two worlds to come together. And so you are reaping those benefits.
And we'll pay more if you can deliver those insights
Exactly.
and help us make them actionable.
And we're aware of that. So I have a question for all of you, because we have so much sort of power here on the stage. I thought I'd pull back and just ask this question. 5 years ago, what percentage of your spend was digital in nature? And 5 years from now, what do you think that percentage is going to be? Okay, well, not everybody has to jump at once.
5 years ago.
I'm not good at math.
So here's what I can say. It was less 5 years ago than it is now. Though I'm trying to think how proportionately less, I think it was more different, for sure. And I think that the productivity of that investment has increased substantially over the last 5 years. And I do think going forward, it will increase. But again, I think it's going to look different. I don't think we could possibly imagine what it's going to look like.
Well, you could consider that a lot of your television spend will be IP addressable, and that would be digital spend, right?
For us right now, I'd say about 20% of our spend is digital. Someone asked me recently, what percent is social? I don't know. And Susan and I were talking earlier, some of it is you don't pay for social, at this point.
Right.
So, and I look at all the other things we're investing in that aren't in our traditional marketing, certainly our media marketing spend. And I could easily probably get up to 40% if I really took a broad view. And I think you've now encouraged me to do that.
Our mix has changed over the last few years and becomes increasingly digital. It's at least 30% now. Again, I really think I'm going to put in a plug for Steve's book, but after you read that book, you go, the world's going to look different faster than we can imagine. And it's really up to us to figure out what we need to do to stay in front of that, or at least to keep up with it.
I'll answer it a little bit differently. So when I went out to raise money for Magnify now 4 years ago, I had a slide deck that had the word curation on the third slide. I went west, I went to Sand Hill, and I got told by 3 of the largest investment banks in a row, get that slide out. No one knows what that word means. It will never mean anything.
That's why you don't listen to investment banks.
Flash forward, we're now in a place where we do no outbound telemarketing for Magnify. We have more inbound requests for video curation than we can manage at the size we are. And the surprise has been mainstream publishers who insisted they had to make everything on their site have come around. But the biggest inbound, and the one that I think is really interesting, is brands. And for example, we power Patagonia. So Patagonia made a decision. They said, we have a story to tell. We're a brand with a story. We want to be a curator. We want to be making video. We want to be accepting video from our customers, and we want to be sharing stories. And I think you're going to see more and more brands evolve into a morph of some new kind of publisher. Not what publishers were, but what they're going to become. And the fascinating thing is, it may be in 5 years you won't be able to tell the difference.
Right.
But also when you think of how much content there is, and the fact that I think it's every 4 months the amount of information on the internet doubles, and that's only going up, then if brands are going to play in that environment and stay relevant, then what burden does that put on us for either content creation, which will be impossible to keep up with, or content curation, where we are making sure that we stay relevant and innovative and essential to the audience we need to speak to. And I think that is a challenge for the future.
Imagine it like the world before and after supermarkets. I mean, no brand woke up and said, boy, I'd like to have 19 flanker brands to this soda. But if there's that much shelf space and you don't fill it, someone else will. And that's really, the data in the book is Eric Schmidt from Google said that From the beginning of time until 1973, we created 5 exabytes of data, and we're now creating that much data every 2 days. So that's everything. That's the Bible, War and Peace, the phone book.
The only thing that I would add to this conversation is it's not about it's not about digital capabilities. It's not about data availability. It's about how the audience is taking that in, and what do they find valuable. And there's got to be some rationalization of all of this over time. While the volume increases, individuals are looking for what's relevant to them. And our job as marketers is to understand that so we can be contextual whenever we put our message or try and get them to participate with our brands in whatever context that provides.
But do keep in mind that the state of play today, the volume people are managing today, is not sustainable. So people will have tools that will allow them to tune things out. And you want to be on the right side of that firewall when they get those tools.
Yeah, very good point. I have 2 questions here from the audience I want to get to, and one of them is that folks are asking for more specific examples of where your brands, if you have these examples, have started by just adding value to your customers' lives in some way, and then moved sort of down funnel to here's what we have for you, as opposed to starting, which is traditional in marketing, with the right offer at the right time, right? Do you have examples of, we're just going to add value to a customer through this content or this service that we provide to you digitally?
So I'll talk for a moment about Open Forum. So again, Open Forum provides content to business owners, and one of the things that we've learned is what's the kind of content that they want to consume. And so we were just talking earlier about what are the major categories that are the most popular categories where business owners are finding value in what we're showing them. And the number 1 category is managing, which is pretty, you would expect. And the second was lifestyle. Lifestyle. So why is lifestyle above marketing and technology and human resources? And lifestyle really allows us to talk about stuff that people don't generally talk about. So articles here are things like how to most efficiently pack your carry-on, how to get more productive. You need that one. You could actually teach that one.
Yeah, I might write that article.
How do you get the maximum productivity, increase the productivity of your staff by standing up instead of sitting down, right? So little things like that provide little tidbits, very actionable advice for someone to get in 5 seconds on their mobile phone and think, oh, wow, that's kind of interesting.
Have you been able to measure that in some way has created value for your brand? Is your net promoter score going up?
Right. So here's the dilemma, right? So the dilemma is, how do you translate that back into how many cards did I sell and how much spend did I get on those cards? So we don't, because that's not what it's there for. It's meant to build a relationship with a business owner, whether they be a customer or someone who's not yet a customer, so that they are more, they have a better affinity, a stronger affinity to our brand, because our brand is bringing them value in a larger way. Now, having said that, what do we measure is Net Promoter.
Net Promoter, yeah.
And we have dramatic lifts in Net Promoter scores from individuals, the difference between individuals who actually go on Open Forum and consume the information versus those who don't. It is definitely a major impact.
John, I have a quick, fun one, and
Has to be quick, because I'm told we're almost out of time.
It's a B2B example. We jumped right to the end where our marketing team said, what if your jet engine had a Facebook page? What updates would you like to get? And it created a whole suite and actually a whole new service offering for airline service teams and aviation heads, where you're basically getting regular pings from your jet engine saying, I'm running hot, I'm a little tired, I need to be serviced, and it's become a whole new service offering. So I think that's an example of where social can take you. Yeah.
Facebook pages for jet engines.
Yeah, it's great.
So if I look out and I see one, can I friend it?
You can, yeah. You have to have an iPhone. But.
You may not want to fly it, but you'll friend it.
I will friend it. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time, and I was told I have to stay on schedule because I'm not Ashton. So Thank you very much to the panel for taking time to give us your insights.